Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. So last night another episode of Sister Wives came on. I just got to watch it today, so of course I will be doing a full recap. That video I will be filming it right after this one. So once this video is uploaded, it may be tomorrow, I'm not sure, because it's already 7:30 p.m. here. So by the time I film it and edit it and upload it, it may actually be tomorrow. So if you don't have a way to actually watch the show, or if you just want to hear my recap and my thoughts, be on the lookout of the recap. So this is going to be the episode. It's titled Choosing Kids Over Cody. It is season 16 and episode 7. So this is not the recap though. Actually, it's going to be a little bit of a recap, but we're more talking about Janelle. So in this episode, Janelle has just had her fill, and she ends up giving Cody a big old F-U as she leaves their family meeting where they are trying to establish what they're going to do for Thanksgiving. Now, earlier in the episode, though, Cody told her that she should make her grown boys move out so he could be home more. So we're going to do a full rundown of everything that took place that led up to Cody telling her basically to kick the boys out, up until where she gives him a big old F-U, and then what he has to say after that. So the episode starts off where they are at Janelle's house, and they're doing some yard work. Her boys are there. Cody pulls up. In a confessional, Janelle says that Cody does not come over to the house unless they are doing something like this, like cleaning the yard or something like that, where they can be outside due to COVID. She then says, so Cody passed out all these rules that supposedly he and Robin and their nanny follow, so that, I don't know, so that all the risks are overcompensated for. So as Cody's coming over, she knows that she wants to talk to him. So in the confessional, she kind of brings up the rules because that's what she's going to talk to him about. So after Cody gets there and they pick the yard up a little bit, she sends her boys inside and she apologizes to Cody. She tells Cody that at their last family meeting where they got these rules, that she feels that she was a little harsh, that maybe she overreacted a little bit, but that she had already been following all the rules that the CDC had put out. So to get this list with all these extra rules, it just kind of like knocked the wind out of her, and she was a little bit shocked. In a confessional, once again, saying that she feels like she has to like be in control, and that was just like a little bit too much control being taken from her, like all of those extra rules. But I think in the end, she does kind of understand why Cody is doing this. So she didn't feel like it was okay for her to be as negative as she was at that meeting. So she tells Cody that, she's just like, I feel like I overreacted, and for that, I do apologize. Now, Cody, he asked her, he's like, okay, so you no longer have a problem with the rules? Like, you had a problem when you first saw them, but you don't have a problem anymore. Is that what you're saying? And Janelle tells him that that's not necessarily what she's saying, that she is still struggling to abide by that many rules, but that she would try to, so the family could spend the holidays together. And that still to that day, that she still felt that the rules were a little much, but she really apologizes for her behavior after she got the rules. So they're talking, they're standing there in the front yard and they're discussing these rules and why they feel like these rules are important, or Cody, obviously, why he feels like these rules are important, and the holidays, and how they're going to figure out a way so the family can spend more time together. Janelle tells Cody that her mental health has really suffered from, with COVID, because she's had to be separated from Cody, and because of all these rules and everything, that it's really took a toll on her mental health. And Cody asks her, he says, don't you think if I could come over more, then it wouldn't be as tough on you? Like, it wouldn't be as tough on your mental health if I could at least come over more? And he tells Janelle, he says, all I need to happen is for the boys, Garrison and Gabriel, to cease socializing for a bit. If they could stop socializing for a little bit, then I could come over more. If they would stop socializing for 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, then we could spend Thanksgiving together. Then you can be there. The boys can be there. We could have a family holiday together. She tells Cody that she does not think that Gabriel will spend 2 weeks away from his girlfriend. And she tells Kody that Garrison is just like 3 months shy of having enough money to buy his own house. She said he has been saving money and that he doesn't even really socialize that much anymore because he has been staying home trying to save money. And that she could not kick him out of the house as he's this close to having enough money for a down payment on his own house. If she kicked him out, then he would have to rent somewhere, right? So then that money that he has saved, it would be wasted to go towards a rental property versus being able to buy his own place. And she's just like, I can't do that. I'm going to let him stay at my house until he has the money to buy his own house. And I would like for them to stop socializing. That would help me out a lot, but I just don't see them doing it. I don't see Gabriel spending 2 weeks away from his girlfriend. And she asked Kody, she said, would you spend 2 weeks away from your girlfriend right before the holidays? And Kody shot back at her very quickly. He said, I spent 2 years away from family, friends, girlfriends, for me to go on a mission trip. You know, with their religion, when you're in your like 18, 19, 20s, I'm really not exactly sure of the ages, but somewhere around that age, a lot of them, the boys, will go on mission trips. And that's what he was saying. He was like, I did not have family. I didn't have friends. I didn't have a girlfriend. I was basically quarantined from everyone I know and loved and liked. So I could, you know, do this mission trip because I knew the reason behind it. I knew it was something I needed to do. So Gabriel can go 2 weeks without seeing his girlfriend. It's not that big of a deal. At that point, Janelle asked Kody if he thought it would be possible for Gabriel's girlfriend to just move in. She was like, not forever, just for a couple weeks before Thanksgiving, so she could be here during the holidays. Like if she moves in, then Gabriel won't be having to get out of the house to go see her because she will be here. And she tells Kody, she said he's going to see his girlfriend anyways. He's going to see her for the holidays regardless. So why don't we just let her move in, and then it'll all work out. She can spend the holidays with us and we won't have to worry about Gabriel trying to quarantine away from her. In a confessional, Kody said he couldn't even answer that. He said that if he would have went with the positive, of which the positive for them being, why, yes, sure, I guess she can move in. He said he would have been going against his religion and everything that he is taught to believe. He said if he would have said no, then once again, he is the bad guy. And he said he's not going to go against his religion and everything that he is taught to believe. But he kind of throws a little shade on them because he says that he feels like they have. He's like, that will go against my religion, and I'm not doing that, even though it feels like that's what they've done already. They're in the same religion. They have the same beliefs. So if Kody is saying it's against our religion, my religion, for my son to have his girlfriend move in with her, then it's going to be against Janelle's religion as well, but she's going against that to allow Gabriel's girlfriend to move in, right? So that's basically what he is saying. And he said, I can't even answer that because it would literally be going against what I believe is right. Now, back talking to Janelle in the actual scene, he tells her that he is tired of his kids criticizing the rules and his standards. He says, I've sacrificed so much for the past 7 months that what should I do? Should I just all of a sudden do away with all that? Like, just, okay, fine, never mind. You know, all this time for the past 7 months, I've lived by this. I've had these rules and I've lived by it to try to protect everyone in the family. Not just myself, but every one of the kids. I'm thinking of, you know, from the oldest to the youngest. And I did that. To what? All of a sudden now to be like, oh, never mind. Let's just go back to living life the way that we wanted to live. And he's like, I can't do that. I can't do that. It's not what I'm going to do. And then Janelle tells him that she does not know how to reconcile everything, that she isn't going to tell her boys that they have to move out or they can't see their girlfriend. And Kody responds, almost yelling at this point, they're adults. Bye-bye. In a confessional, he says that he's tried to be sympathetic to the kids, but when he found out that he was being lied to, he's just washed his hands of it at that point, and that he just wants to have the boys move out. But the problem is he can't because Janelle's name is on the lease, and that he would not be able to evict them. He can't because it's Janelle's name on the lease. So basically he's like, you know, I've tried to give them a little grace. I've tried to think about the position that they're in, but when I found out that they lied to me, never mind, I don't care. They're adults. they can move out. And if it was up to me, I would evict their butts. But he can't because his name's not on the lease. Or I don't know if his name is not on the lease, but he said that Janelle's name is on the lease. And I guess she would have to be the one to kick them out. Janelle says that she is not the type of parent to do something like that. That she is not the type of parent to put the boys out. And Cody reminds her, he says, you know, when I was such and such years old, my dad gave me a hoopty vehicle, a vehicle that barely ran, $50, and sent me on my way. And I had to swim or sink. And I swam and I made a life for myself. And Janelle, in a confessional, she says, times are different now. You know, kids these days, you just can't send them out in a barely working vehicle with $50 and expect them to make it. That's not how things are these days. It doesn't happen. And that she's not one of those parents to do that anyways. That even if kids could go out with $50 in a barely running vehicle, that she would not be one of those parents to do that and expect her kids to make it. You know, she's not one of those parents. So after Cody leaves, she brings the boys back outside and she tells them that she needs to talk to them. You know, she's like, just talk to your dad. I need to have a conversation with y'all. She tells them how there's new rules on top of the ones they already had. There is a list, and she tells them that they have to abide by not only the things that they were abiding by, but these new rules as well if they want to get together for the holidays. Right off the bat, Gabriel said, well, I'll see you in February. So Janelle was like, no, just listen. And she goes over the new rules, or other rules that they have to abide by, right? She's like, listen, these are the other rules. We just do everything that we were doing. Whenever we come back from getting groceries, we take our clothes off, switch clothes, we wipe everything down, we wipe our mail down. You know, we don't see anybody who outside of this family. Once again, Gabriel automatically is like, no, I'm not going to not see my girlfriend. And he tells her that he thinks it's ridiculous. At one point, he tells Janelle, he says, call dad, get him over here. I'll tell him to his face. This is ridiculous. Garrison, he's basically like, sure, yeah, I'll abide by the rules. That's what he tells all of them. He's like, yeah, sure, we'll abide by them. And Janelle, she's like, really? You will? Like, you'll at least abide by them so we can have the holidays together? And he said, yes, I'll abide by them. And he looks to Gabriel and he says, we'll just lie. We'll just lie. We won't actually abide by them, but we'll tell dad that we did. And Janelle, she's not having that. She's like, I'll never do that. I would never do that. We're not gonna do that. At that point, they basically agree. They come to an agreement that if Christine does, in fact, go to Utah to see the other family members, to do Thanksgiving with them, that they would do that. That if Christine and her kids are going, they want to go with her. But if Christine decides that she's not going to Utah, then they will abide by the rules and they will do Thanksgiving with Cody and Robin and Mary. Which has already been kind of discussed. Like, Christine has already made her mind up anyways, really. And Janelle knows that. So at this point, Janelle basically knows that at this time, they have pretty much made the decision that they're going to go to Utah with Christine. So now they've kind of made this decision. The family, they're having another meeting. So they had this first meeting where they got the list, but they really didn't come to any sort of an agreement for Thanksgiving. They kind of scratched the surface with maybe what some people's plans may be. You know, we might try to make it. We're probably going to go to Utah. I don't know. So at that first initial meeting, they discussed the holidays and how, you know, they would try. But some of them thought that Thanksgiving they weren't going to be there, but Christmas they would. So this meeting that they're having on this episode, it was to really kind of lock down the plans, like for everyone to say, okay, this is what we're going to do and this is what we got to work towards. So they all meet up, they sit down, and right out of the bat, Christine tells Cody that she's going to be going to Utah to see the other family members in Utah and that she's going to have Thanksgiving with them. Janelle then tells Cody that her boys have also decided that they want to go to Utah as well to have Thanksgiving with Christine. And they're going up there to see Aspen and Mitch and Tony and McKelty. So they're going to have more, you know, they're going to have family there. They're going to get to see Aspen and Mitch, who they don't get to see all the time. They're going to get to see Tony and McKelty, who they don't get to see all the time. So when Christine tells Cody this, that her family, her unit, has decided to go spend the holidays in Utah, she's like, the girls are super excited to see Aspen and Mitch and Tawny and McKelty. So they're really looking forward to it, but we will be here for Christmas. You know, then Janelle, she chimes in and she's like, yep, we're going to go with Christine. We're going to go to Utah as well. In a confessional, Kody says, look, I get it. I get it that they want to spend Thanksgiving with Christine because Christine doesn't really have any rules, and the times that she has rules, she does not really enforce any rules or make the kids abide by any rules. So I get that. I get why they would want to go spend the holidays with Christine. Now, Christine tells the family that she spoke to the girls and she told them that it was either quarantine for 2 weeks so they could spend Thanksgiving with the family, or they could just go to Aspen and Mitch's house. And they all agreed that they would go to Aspen and Mitch's house. So she did tell Kody that this was not just a decision that she made on her own, that she actually talked to the girls, and this was a decision that the girls made as well. Now, after Janelle and Christine both tell Kody that they're not going to be there for the holidays, or at least for Thanksgiving, Kody tells the ladies that he respects everyone's decision, but they are still obligated to try to work very hard to protect everyone, like in their family, as well as everyone that they have to work with and they have to see on a regular basis. You know, he's like, Garrison works. He works around people. Christine, she has to see people. Robin has a nanny. Like, we have people that we're obligated to try to make sure we stay safe. So when we see them, we're not passing something over to them. So he tells them that, and he brings up the boys and how they're not very understanding of why Kody has wanted to be so cautious, or why Kody has put these rules in place and why he's being super careful. At that point, obviously, the camera kind of pans over to Janelle because he's talking about her sons. Janelle seems to kind of just roll her eyes a little bit. I think her boys get it, but at the end of the day, they just think it's like overkill, right? Like it's too much. So he says that the boys are not understanding of why he has to be so cautious. He then goes on to say that he is not telling any of the women how to live their lives anymore. He is just going to try to lead the right way, and they can follow or they don't have to. In a confessional, Christine said that if Kody ever wanted her to choose or expected her to choose between him or her children, it will be her kids every single time. And Janelle said the same thing last week when Janelle spoke about this also. She said, I'm choosing my kids every time. And I think a big reason for this, though, is that's been these ladies' lives. They don't have a husband that's home every day that they focus a lot on. They focus on their children. So at the end of the day, who are they going to pick? Their flesh and blood, who they brought into this world, who they see every day, who depends on them and need them? Or are they going to choose like a grown man who they see once a week, if that, who doesn't need them, who would be okay without them? They're going to pick their children. And Janelle and Christine have both stated that. Janelle tells Kody that if she chooses to stay here, she would be alone for Thanksgiving. She basically said that even if Garrison moved out, right before the holidays, she would not have that 2-week quarantine time. So she would be okay to spend Thanksgiving with him. She's like, it doesn't even matter if he was to, put a down payment on a house today with the process and the 2-week quarantine time. I still wouldn't be able to spend Thanksgiving with you guys. So I'm going to Utah. Me and the kids are going to go to Utah. So I don't have to spend Thanksgiving alone. Kody tells her that it's a choice that she is making, and he is asking her to consider and shoulder the responsibility for herself like he does. And then he tells everyone with a very creepy look on his face, he's like, well, I hope everyone really enjoys their Thanksgiving. And then he gives this really creepy smile. It really kind of creeped me out a little bit, the way that he was smiling. I don't even know what that was for. Janelle gets up to leave, but as she's walking off, Christine tells Kody, she's like, I have a clear conscience with this. Like, the fact that me and my girls made the decision to go see other family in Utah, I don't feel bad about this, and I have a very clear conscience about it. So Kody then tells Christine that the reason he's telling the women this, what he told them in that meeting, is because he wants them to relay the message to the kids. Because he is tired of the children calling him mad at him. So he's like, I told you guys this so y'all could relay the message to your children so they're not calling me upset. He then tells all the women, he says, You can continue in the vein of your little world, but I want you to understand mine. Basically, like, while the women, they only have like their few children to think about, really, he's trying to think about like all the wives and all the wives' kids and everybody, the workers that they're around, everybody. So, you know, he's like, you guys can continue thinking about just your family, but please understand, I'm thinking about the whole family. At that time, Janelle interrupts Kody, and she tells Kody that she felt more like it was a guilt trip. That Kody was trying to guilt trip the women into staying there for Thanksgiving. And she tells him basically like, look, I would have to be alone for Thanksgiving. I'm not going to be alone for Thanksgiving. So I'm going to Utah where I can actually be around family. Kody tells Janelle that this was more like a plea, like that he was more pleading with them, and that he thinks she understands the big picture, and he would hope that she would just respect that. He's like, look, this was me kind of pleading with you guys to stay here and be with your family. I think you see that I'm not trying to guilt trip anybody, that this was actually about me trying to get you guys to see the bigger picture. I think you see it, and I hope you respect the way that I feel. At that point, Janelle, she turns around to leave, and she says, yeah, F off. It went to a commercial at that point, but I was like, whoa, Janelle, like, she's tired of it. And I guess she has a point. Like, why would she stay if she really would have to be alone? If she's going to have to spend her Thanksgiving alone, like, first off, both of the boys, they're going to go to Utah. They've already said that. They want to go with Christine to see the rest of the family. But they're not going to quarantine. Gabriel's not going to stay away from his girlfriend for the 2 weeks. Actually, Gabriel said that his girlfriend's birthday is on Thanksgiving Day. So he's not going to not see his girlfriend. So Janelle is really stuck in between a rock and a hard spot, between trying to get her adult children to do something so she can see her husband. Now, there's such a part of me that like kind of agrees with Kody. Like, okay, they're grown men though. Like, if they don't care about you getting to see your husband, then why should I care about him getting to see his girlfriend? If they can't show a little bit of respect to say, okay, Mom, we understand that you're having to be separated from your husband because of us. I'll take the next 2 weeks and I'll separate from my girlfriend, and maybe we'll take turns or something. I don't know. That way you can at least see your husband, you know? So I don't agree with Kody often, but I do kind of see his point here. Like, they are grown. They need to be respectful that at the end of the day, it is Janelle's house. And if this is something that she's really wanting, if Janelle is really like, I really would like to see the family and stay here for Thanksgiving, then I think they should abide by that, or they should go stay somewhere else. You guys leave me your thoughts about that in the comment section below. If you guys agree, let me know. If you guys don't agree, let me know and tell me why. So now after that, Kody actually asked the women, because Janelle, she storms off. Kody actually asked the women if he's like being a bully. He's like, am I being a bully? Am I just not seeing something for what it is? Like, what is the deal? And Christine tells him, you know, the spot that Janelle is in. She's like, listen, Janelle's getting heat from you. She's getting heat from the kids. The kids are not wanting to quarantine. And then you're not wanting to let her be a part of the holidays because of their actions, when Janelle has been, you know, doing everything the CDC tells us to do, as well as she says she will follow these extra rules. She's going to do the things, but she just can't get the boys to do it. So she's really in this tough spot. And nobody's making it easier on her. So at the end of the episode, we do get to see a clip of next week's episode, and Kody basically says that he has realized who is loyal to him and who is not. And I'm guessing he's saying that from who was there with him on Thanksgiving, and that would be Mary and Robin. So you guys leave me your thoughts about the whole situation in the comment section below. Whose side are you on? Are you guys team Janelle, or are you guys team Kody? Leave me your thoughts. You guys, I'm just going to be quite honest. I can see both. Like, there's some things that I agree with Kody on, and there's some things that I agree with Janelle on. I'm very much one of those women that I'm like, I can't put my kids out. I couldn't put my kids out. But at the same time, like, you want your kids to at least respect your house and your wants and your desires. Like, if my husband couldn't come over because of something my kids was doing, I would tell them, I can't see my husband because of what you're doing. So if you want to stay here, I need you to stop. Have a little bit of respect for that, for the fact that I do have a husband and I want to see him. And if you're doing something that, you know, causes that not to happen, then you either need to change it or you need to leave. I couldn't see myself kicking my child out, but I could see myself coming at them that way about it. Like, I get it, you don't agree with the rules. I get it, you think it's crazy. I do too. But at the end of the day, I want to see my husband. At the end of the day, I want to spend, you know, the holidays with my family. And I know you guys do too. So can we just tough it out for 2 weeks? I mean, Janelle was to the point where she was like, let's just let Gabriel's girlfriend move in. I think Gabriel is 21 years old. So she was at the point where she was about to like, bye-bye, the part of my religion that tells me that's not okay. And let's just allow it so my son can be happy and then my husband can come over. So yeah, do you guys agree with that? Do you guys think that it would have been a good idea for Janelle to allow Gabriel's girlfriend to move in? Let me know your thoughts. Leave it in the comment section below. And yeah, I'm going to be doing a full recap right after this, so be on the lookout for it. If you guys enjoy all things reality TV and you like keeping up with reality TV, I try to do as many recaps as possible. So yeah, just subscribe to the channel, give this video a huge thumbs up, and until next time, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye, everyone.